Hey, welcome back, kids. We just did bubbles in a bowl. Pretty exciting. Now we're on to part B in our Science Squad book here, Inflating a Balloon. So as I mentioned, during that chemical reaction, there's some gas release, some carbon dioxide. We're actually going to capture that gas in a balloon, and it should inflate the balloon if everything goes as planned. Now, sometimes in science, everything doesn't go as planned, and you may learn some things from that. For example, a little spill from experiment 1. So don't worry, I have some paper towels. So here we go. Sarai, what's our first step for part B of the experiment?
Carefully pour some of the vinegar into the empty water bottle. If you have a funnel, you can use it to help you do this to prevent any spills.
Spills. Yeah, we don't want any more spills, especially when you're working with chemicals. Happen to have a funnel here. Sarai, here's your funnel. And happen to have an empty water bottle. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a water bottle, any sort of bottle that has a, basically you kind of want this small opening, and you'll see why as we go through the experiment. So here you go. You ready to pour this again? All right. I'll actually help you by holding this to make sure it doesn't tip. So a little tip, don't let it tip. A little tip, don't let it tip. All right. Okay, yeah. Wow, that filled up fast. So maybe we should talk about how much vinegar do I need in my water bottle. This is a lot of vinegar. This is a lot of vinegar. You probably don't need quite that much. I'd say only about maybe a little less than a quarter full. But hey, we're going to work with it. We're going to see what happens in this experiment here with all this vinegar. This vinegar is the weak acid. Now, I wonder what we have to do next to make this chemical reaction. What are we going to do next?
Put several spoonfuls of baking soda into the balloon. Having a funnel makes this part a lot easier too.
Okay, so we're going to use a funnel. Now, it would be better if we had a clean funnel or a second funnel to use. I'm going to try to wipe this out because as soon as that baking soda hits the vinegar, we're going to get that chemical reaction. I don't want any chemical reaction inside my funnel. I want to save it all for inside the water bottle. So let's see if we can. Now, a little tip here, kids. If we stretch this beforehand, kind of stretch the opening a little bit, this is going to make it a lot easier for what we're going to do later. So I'll do a little stretchy part here. So stretchy your balloon, and you ready for this? Okay. All right. This is helpful when you have an assistant. So I'll be assistant Soraya. She'll put the funnel there. Boom. Something like that, kids. All right, we're going to try to get the baking soda inside this balloon. Okay, here we go. Got your spoon. Got your baking soda. All right, I like to do a little shaking and tapping to make sure that gets in the balloon. All right, so a little tip there. A little tapping, a little shaking. Don't shake it too much or you'll have a face full of baking soda get all over the place here. Kind of like in the story when Simon ripped open the baking soda, he was in a cloud of baking soda. This stuff does kind of poof in the air if you're not careful. So here we go, Sarai. Why don't you go ahead and take over that process of trying to get that in there. So I'm going to let her fool around with that, trying to get the baking soda in the balloon. So this is all part of science, trying to figure out how to make your experiment work. When you go into labs in the science community and they're doing experiments, the first few times they actually design the experiment, it's usually not what they need. They usually have to go through and try different methods to get the results they're looking for. So here we are trying different methods to get the baking soda in the balloon. And if you don't have a funnel and you just have a spoon, you might have to go very slowly and carefully with that to make sure you get some baking soda in that balloon. So she's doing the shake method, a little wiggle method, and we're trying to get that in the balloon, okay? And even poking it down there. So you can see she's trying different methods to get that in there the best that she can. What do you think? Got enough in there? You could kind of feel the bottom of the balloon, see that there's some in there? Okay. All right, let me see. I shake a little bit more. See if we get any more in there. You know what? This pencil's for more than writing. Let's do a little pencil technique here. I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. Got a little baking soda jam. Okay, let's try this out. Pour the extra in there. Take this off very carefully. Hey! Okay. So you feel it, there's a fair amount in there. If you feel it, you know, pretty hefty, right? I see the problem here. A little baking soda clog. Baking soda clog. There, we cleared it. What do you think? Add more or do it? Do it. She's ready. She's excited. So, again, you know, you could play around with how much vinegar, how much baking soda you think you should use, and then you'll get to see what result happens. So we're going to use this much baking soda. I'm not sure how much. Maybe you get a scale, you can weigh, get the mass, how much it is. But we're just going to go ahead and use this much. So here is the trickiest part. What's step 3, Soraya?
Without spilling any baking soda, stretch the end of the balloon over the opening of the water bottle.
Wow, so we need to stretch this over the top. This is by far the trickiest part. Hold that for a second. You're going to have to use your little pinchy fingers to pinch and stretch and put it over the top without spilling it. That means you don't want the balloon to go over yet. I'll hold this for her. Wow, she is good. She's a good pincher. You're a good pincher. You've been practicing pinching? I hope not, kids. No pinching. Okay, so you can see it's over the top. It's sealed completely. It's sealed completely, and we didn't spill the baking soda in there. There's no reaction yet. So what's our next step?
Hold up the balloon so the baking soda falls in the vinegar at the bottom of the bottle.
Oh boy, she's going to hold up the balloon and let it. Okay, she's ready. I better back away here. All right, here it goes. Yep, get it in there. Oh dear, oh my goodness, we have something happening here. We have what's happening. What is happening here?
It still has baking soda in it.
It still has bacon, so good observation. Oh, and she's releasing the rest of the bacon. She's observant. She's becoming a scientist here. She's releasing bacon. And what do you notice happen as she releases more baking soda? Holy cow! Okay, kids. Now, let's aim this away from us so that just for safety, we do have our safety goggles on. If there's any sort of pop, we're covered here. We got these fancy lab coats, more for stylish purposes, but hey, why not? We don't want to get dirty. That is super cool. That is super cool. Look at that. And more bacon. She is not content yet. She wants this thing to fill up the room. Really cool. So there's a couple observations you can make. You can observe what's going on down here, and you can observe what's going on up here. So we're going to go ahead and let you guys write down your observations in your Science Squad books. Go ahead and write down what you saw happen. What did you do? What was the effect of what you did? And go ahead and get that information down like a good scientist. So you got your space for writing. You got your space for your picture of what happened, your diagram. So let's give you guys some time to go ahead and do that as Soraya goes to work in her book.